Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Welcome to our worldwide podcast called Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. Gretta Chamberlain is here, right, Greta? She's
Absolutely.
Here, and I'm here, Kathleen Lee, the original. And we are here to remind you from the realm of beings that you are a divine being who creates your personal reality at all times. You never stop creating. And so today, our little viewers, we're going to be talking about live a life of peace. And the quote that was given to Greta, power is, oh, excuse me, power. You see what? This is why, Greta, I was trying to be cute without my glasses. Peace is an emotion that purposefully builds within your life experiences if you allow it to do so. Consequently, you must guarantee its existence in your reality, for you are the creator of it. Basically, we're going to examine peace within your life. We're going to talk about that and determine if you need more of it, because only you can determine if you need more of it. You're also going to learn how you can guarantee its presence in your life. And you do need to remember to like us on Facebook, and we are on Transformation Talk Network, Talk Radio, every Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to call in Greta and ask her to elaborate or extend this quote for us, please, Greta.
Peace. Peace is a very important part of my life, and I thought it was interesting that the realm of beings, well, I guess I created for them to bring that up about peace. Um, but it's something that I think everybody in this world would want that, want peace. But where is it? Do we look for it outside? Or do we look for it inside? So it says here, inside, purposefully builds within your life experience. But I like that within, because that's where I think we need to go, Kathy. We need to talk about what is the peace within us. Sometimes we look outside, but I don't think that that's necessarily where we want to go, with that. What do you think about that?
Greta, we say that and I get it, but I can feel, and I have observed that that's one of the challenges that humankind has on this planet. And it has to do with a whole lot of things with our lives, and the whole um, concept or just remembering that we create our own realities on our own reality. And so I think we kind of get I think sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. And we want to practice it. It's almost like, to me, um when New Year's Eve rolls around, you make all of these promises. I'm going to do this, going to do that, going to do this and that. And then when it's time to do it, it's like you do it for about a day or two, and then you go right back to what you were doing before you made those empty promises to yourself. And you don't think that they're empty when you're making them. You sincerely want to do that. And I think that finding the peace within yourself is actually it's part of that journey, it's part of that same process. You either achieve it or you don't. But how do you know when you're achieving it? And how do you hold on to it once you have it? How do you keep doing it? Am I making sense?
I think so. And I think I can even say something prior to that. What everything that you're saying is, how do we get it in the first place? You know, it's got to come through our own creation of reality. It's got to come through our determination to experience that. You know, I don't know. I know that we don't want war. So we could say war is the opposite of peace. We could say that. But then
Right.
that's an external thing. So how do we look at it internally? I know that many people, I'm sure, are having challenges within their life. They might be having health challenges, that take them out of their peace, you know, financial challenges can take them out of their peace. When you're getting ready to lose your home, or you're getting ready to be evicted out of your place of residence, that
Or
can't be
deported
peaceful.
from your place of residence.
Absolutely. You're not at peace. So see, the thing is, Kathy, and I think what our audience would want to know is, when we have these adverse challenges, how can we go out and seek peace? How can we go out and seek peace when I'm in a cancer experience? How do I do that when I've just buried my husband? How do I do that when I have just been and at one right? There's some people that we create a challenge one right after the other. And then sometimes we wonder, when in the heck is this going to stop? This just happened to me, then I turn around, this just happens to me. Then I turn around, this just happens to me. So, how do we seek peace inside all of that?
Well, Greta, what's coming to me, because we've all gone through it, okay? Um,
Absolutely.
it's like it's almost like we create ways of finding peace and to experience it again. And for some of us, we loop and takes a lot longer for us to do that. But maybe that's part of the whole thing about seeking peace. I mean, what happens when we catch it? I mean, when you think about it, I mean, this is a very interesting planet. Without, if it was all peaceful, it'd be like that Star Trek episode where everybody's, oh, hello, hello. I mean, I know personally for me, it might be tad boring, but I mean, so maybe that's why the quote says within and not
In
without,
your Within your life experience it.
because it's like we all want peace, but we're looking outside. We want peace we want everyone to have peace. We want peace everywhere. And I know that's one of the, well, maybe the way to find it. Well, you always taught me, and the realm always taught me, the way to find peace outside of yourself is to have it within yourself. The question is, what happens when there are millions or billions of people on this planet that don't know how to do that? Some meditate, they hold on to it, then something happens in their life, like you said, and all of a sudden their peace is disrupted. But
Mhm.
maybe that's all a part of, well, how can you appreciate the peace if you always have it? I don't know. That might be another way of thinking about it.
It could be. It could be. I would like to tack off on that with what you just said. In that quote, it says, if you allow it to do so.
Ah,
Words, if you allow it. So that means uh, we have to say that I'm going to do this. Now, how can we do it? We can, if there's something that is doing the opposite, of peace. We know we can use the QDRs, quick displace, replace. And if there's anyone in the audience who's not familiar with that, it means I am experiencing releasing all emotions and thoughts that support me in creating and maintaining feeling sad, let's say, for instance. And then you tag on to that, I love myself unconditionally. Because I think one of the things that we have to do is to notify the unconscious. We have to notify
Ah,
the unconscious. I say,
ah,
okay, you've
ah.
helped me to experience this trauma, but I don't want to continue in the trauma. Whatever the trauma is, how can I get out of it? Because your unconscious is what's really assisting you in creating your reality. There are two things, the unconscious and the energy. You use the energy, your emotions and your thoughts have energy around them. So you take, those are the two things, your thoughts and your energy.
But Greta, don't you think that maybe the reason why our species called humans go flutter back and forth is because, you know, to appreciate it when you do have it. You know what I mean? It's like if when we were little, we knew Christmas was right around the corner. We brought out all the old broken toys and played real hard to let Santa know that we really appreciated this, because you're anticipating the new ones. And
Mhm.
maybe we're, well, that's the question for the realm. Are we supposed to experience um, creating challenges in order to really enjoy experiencing the peace of overcoming those challenges and moving on? I mean, that's another question that I have. Everything, like I said, everything cannot always be. Well, I don't know. Well, you could be whatever you want it to be. I mean, there are people that walk through life, with a smile on their face all day long. I mean, totally oblivious to everything. And I mean, we look at them, we go, well, you give them a wide berth. You cross the street, you let them walk on down the street because you said, I don't think they're looking in, tuned into this reality. And, they're just walking, just going on about the business. And they're always like that, but sometimes it's just a facade. I don't know. I'm just assuming that it is. But, you never realize what you lost or what you had until you lose it. And maybe that's part of the process too, until we as a species learn that if we want to experience this for the force, you know, because we are in an experiential journey, we are experiencing all of these thoughts and emotions so the force can experience itself.
Right.
And maybe that's why, we're not finished experiencing it. Maybe that's part of why we created, why we created ourselves to be this way. If I'm making sense,
Yeah, I think you are.
I'm really going off on the deep end now because that's a interesting little. I hope I can remember to ask them that when the realm comes on. But that's a very interesting. Why does the force want to? Why do we, as the force, want to experience chaos and discord? And then all of a sudden, it's almost like the planet says, okay, we had enough of this. Let's have some peace now for a couple of centuries. You know what I mean? Let's take a breather. And then we go, we don't really like this. It's boring. It's like, then we just like take another deep breath and you go back. And
Mm.
then we become very creative and we move forward as a species. So maybe, I don't know.
I don't know either, tell you the honest God truth. And I'm sure everybody's saying, well, why are we doing this? And we don't know. But I think it's to explore the idea of the concept. And I think you brought up some great things. One that, how can we tell we're in peace without the chaos, experiencing the chaos or something that's up or trauma, so that we know when we get into a state of peace, you know.
Or to
Uh,
avoid the trauma and stay in that state of peace.
yeah, but then how do you do that?
Exactly. Exactly,
That's it.
because
How do
then
you
we
do
feed
that?
the energy and the fear into all those other low vibrational things, and then it just mushrooms all out of control. And I mean,
Absolutely.
just, so,
Right, right, right. It
uh,
reverberates. Yeah. So I know for myself, I just have to calm down. When I'm getting ready when something's happening and a lot of stuff is hitting me at the same time that I know I created it for it to hit me, but the thing is that I feel a certain amount of remiss or sadness that I created it for myself. So one thing I do is I just stop. I just stop. I tell myself, Greta, breathe, breathe, stop. And I just become still. And then I think about, okay, how can I change this situation? Because one thing I found out, peace is very important. It's not brought up here in the quote, but peace is very important because when you can stop, breathe, and then think about the change instead of getting emotionally involved. See, that's another part of peace too, Kathy, not getting emotionally involved in the trauma.
right.
But see, that takes practice. It just
And
doesn't
right.
show up.
And you know what? See, you go in your kitchen,
Yeah.
and you know what I found out this past week? When I reached that point, watching the news and everything happening, and I started getting all wound up, I recognized that for some reason I was just directed, just go run the water, get in the tub. And when I ran the water and got in the tub, I was able to focus on myself. I was able to, do I want to get all hyped up and ruin my health? Do I want to experience these aches and pains because I'm getting all worked up, with the stress of what's going on? And I said no. And I began to ask those questions. And it dawned on me, water is a conduit. This is my space. And I noticed that I've always done that, but I never knew why I did that. But for me, just getting into that hot tub and just not even why don't have anything on, just doing some QDR, some affirmations. It just takes me to a whole different place. And I was able to decide I'm going to be emotionally neutral. And I began to ask myself, why am I, well, as the force? And some voice said, you're not the force yet. You're learning that you're the force. And I said to whoever it was and myself, no, I know I'm the force. And as the force, I know I'm creating to experience this. My question is why? Why am I creating that? Do I want to create it? And I said, well, I guess I must want to create it, but now I don't have to create it. I can uncreate it. I can change it. And it was like a very, um, another one of them aha moments that you have where I really began to go deeper into myself and ask those really deep questions, you know, about if I'm the force, why do I want to experience this? And how many times do I want to experience this? And am I seeing it through the different personalities? Girl, I went into another whole different. I don't even know where I went.
Mhm.
I went so deep into that. But when I got out of the tub, audience, I'm going to tell you this. I got out, I was relaxed, and you know what? Because I made that decision and I put all that intention into it that I'm not going to get him wrapped up in all the stuff going on. I've been fine the rest of the week. I really have. Because once you have that aha moment and you make that decision that you are going to be emotionally neutral, because this is all an illusion for me, okay? In that water, I suggested when I get out, I'm leaving all of that there and it's going to go down the drain. That's exactly what I did. And I put myself back into that state of peace
Mhm.
where you
Mhm.
go in your kitchen.
Yeah, I do. I go stand in there, or I go just sit down. I go sit down with my plants and then or I'll go and listen to some calming music because I've learned, notice I say I've learned that if I stay in that, if I stay worried, if I stay upset, I'm giving energy to it.
That's what I said. That's low vibrational.
Right.
And I said, oh no, no, no. My goal, I'm focused on being high vibrational. And I said, what's more important to be that? I said, I cannot be a facilitator if I'm low vibrational, not the kind I want to be.
Right,
And
right.
I said, oh no, that's not my purpose right now. And so I said, we can't hold on to that. We must because we work with all kinds of individuals and all kinds of different beliefs, we have to be neutral.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
that's part of my journey, audience and Greta, with the work that I do with Greta, you know.
But you know what? I think something that, and we've been saying it, and I know the realm is going to say it again later on, but that last statement that you said alludes to unconditional love. It always goes back to that, and many people see that as what is that? They don't realize that the unconditional love situation supports you in being in peace. It'll
It does.
support you in that. Yeah. But it's not necessarily unconditionally loving everybody else, you know. But the main thing is to unconditionally love ourselves,
And that's what I was
regardless
doing in that. Yep.
in that tub, right? And that's
That's
what I said when I
exactly what I
wanted
that's
to say.
exactly what I was doing. And I did we love ourselves unconditionally. And because for me, the water is like a strong conduit for me.
Hmm.
Is that the correct word, Greta?
Yeah, that'll work, Kathy.
Um, I have such a strong connection to that. Uh, it really intensifies my ability to focus and to ask myself the questions and to ask those angels and those guides um, to support me, to send me to let me know I'm on the right path.
Hmm.
And but even though it's happened before, for some reason I was really focusing on that aspect of it the last time. I said, that's why you get in this tub. That's why you do that,
Hmm.
because it's your way of just letting everything just wash off of you and just go away and focus on just me and take care of my emotional body, my electromagnetic body. Just take care of basically my divine beingness, my existence, and
But you know
decide
what?
what I want
Go
to
ahead,
do.
Kathy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but some people would tell us, because people have said that before, well, that's being selfish.
Good.
Yeah. See, people don't realize it's important for us to love ourselves because within that love of self, you do find peace. And you find the other things that you want as well when you're loving yourself.
You find answers. You
Yeah.
find, what's coming to me now is I sat in that water to create peace for myself.
Hmm.
And that's saying it even more succinctly. Because when I went in, I was stressed and angry. I said, that's low vibrational. I don't want that. And when I got out, I was at peace within myself. And I was able to roll with the construction going on in my home and all the dust, um, and the cat getting out and seeing the joy on her face when she realized she was outside. And I said, well, I'm gonna let her create her own reality. And I bought a GPS tracking thing, put it on her neck, so now I know everywhere she's going, back and forth in the yard. But she was getting, even animals get antsy. It's like when you're caged. And I said, well, you know what? Go ahead, girl, you do you. Go do you. And she has been a much calmer cat. And it's been like about a week and a half now, 2 weeks. And I'm going to let her create her own reality. So when I call her, she comes back. The cat comes back the very next day. But I mean, it's interesting, because if I'm freeing myself, why shouldn't she be free to experience? No, actually, I supported her in creating her own reality. To go outside and find some peace. Now that I think about it, she has me very well trained. My dog does too, but it's really, really interesting. What time is it? Oh, audience, before I forget, September, Alan Steinfeld will be with us for 4 weeks, teaching you how to do remote viewing. It is free for you. And it's going to be absolutely marvelous, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And with that, we shall return momentarily after our little musical interlude with the Realm of Beings. Well, welcome back. We're going to bring on the Realm of Beings in a moment to continue discussing living a life of peace. I just want to remind the audience that you can find us on Facebook and all on Transformation Network. We're so thankful for them. We are revamping our show. It's going to be brand new with guests coming up in September. And what else can I tell you? You can find us on iHeartRadio or wherever else you enjoy all of your streaming services. So this is for the Realm. Realm, the quote is, live a life of peace. Peace is an emotion that purposefully builds within your life experiences if you allow it to do so. Consequently, you must guarantee its existence in your reality, for you are the creator of it. I don't need to ask if you are here because I know you are. I sense your beingness. So I just don't know if this the jokey one or the serious one, or if all of you are here. And you are muted, Realm, so I can hear you, and you said all of you are here.
Oh, okay, we unmuted ourselves. Yes, we're here. We decided to talk about peace because it seems to be so absent in this world at this moment. And it's collectively in a state of non-peace. Collectively. That means that there are groups that have decided that they're going to delve into an area of non-peace, regardless of what the area is. But the thing is that you can move out of the collective. See, the collective can be a group, but you are one within the group. So in your oneness, regardless of what the group is doing, you can create a state of love of self. And when you create a state of love of self, then you're going to reverberate into peace. Peace must come there. It must, because you are appreciating yourself within a collective that is showing non-appreciation of many beings. But it doesn't matter because you are you. You are always you. Sometimes we look at things outside at the group and we want to identify with the group. But sometimes identifying with a particular group takes you, or as the word that we use, reverberates you into a place of stress, trauma, unlikability, all these things. So the bottom line about our quote today is that each individual must seek it individually. Now, there have been times that we know of that the groups have come together all over the world and have meditated and prayed for peace as a whole. And we're not knocking that. If that's something that you like to do, that's fine. That's a beautiful thing. But the point is that before you can reach out and do a whole world, the first person to begin with in this excursion of self is to love yourself. It's to love yourself. And some of you might find that difficult to do. You'll know if it's difficult to do. Try standing in the mirror and looking at yourself. Do you feel comfortable doing that? If you don't feel comfortable standing in the mirror and looking at yourself, then you're going to know that you have quite a bit of work to do within you, not outside. See, if everyone in the world sought peace inside, it would reflect peace outside. Because we've given a protocol or a tenet that says create, support, support, create. If you're in a state of peace, then others must support you that way. I don't care if it's somebody that hated your guts. If you are strong within yourself and you're saying, I love me, I appreciate me. Hug yourselves. Put your arms around you and say, I love you. And put your name there. I love you, John. But I'm not talking. If you're John, you're going to say, I love you, John. If you're Kathy, you're going to say, I love you, Kathy. See, we talk about loving other people more so than loving ourselves. It's very rare to stand in the mirror and say, I love you, Greta, or I love you, Joan, or I love you, Jim. But we can say easily to somebody else, I love you. So the first person that you must begin with is you. Once you do a steady, steady pace of loving yourself, notice we're saying a steady, steady pace. So that means regardless of what I create, I'm still going to love myself. Yes, I burnt the pot up. I went upstairs, forgot that the pot was on, and burned it to a crisp. Now you got to go out, spend more money on buying another pot. So then you beat up on yourself. Why did I do that? Why did I burn the pot? You see. So if you do have that experience, you burn the pot, throw the doggone thing out and just say farewell.
And Realm, that's what I did when I got into that tub. I said, I'm not going to be angry at myself for temporarily having some low vibrational thoughts, watching what was happening, this just in general. And I said, it's okay that I had that. I'm not going to beat myself up if that's what you're talking about. And I just sat there and I said, I'm just going to QDR that, do my affirmations. And when I get out, I don't want that. I don't choose that, those feelings, those emotions for myself, those thoughts. I'm going to change my thought, change my reality. And that's why I did that. So if you're talking about that, that's what I did.
Yes. And people, each one, just like you found water helps you, Kathy. That means each one of you can find what helps you. Is it good for you just to sit and listen to 432 hertz music? Is it good for you to sit and meditate? It's to find something. Is it to do Tai Chi? Is it to practice yoga? Is it to go salsa dancing? Find something that brings you peace. Because, see, if you just sit down and you just say, okay, I'm going to be peaceful, most people need something to help them bring about that peace. So bringing joy into your life. See, peace can come in so many ways. It can come by way of joy. It can come by way of just love of self, definitely love of self now. And if you keep telling yourself, train yourself to love yourself. Because as you're training yourself to love yourself, then you're training yourself also to be in peace.
And Realm, I just remembered something else that I did. I know that water works well for me, but I also realized that was limiting me. And I didn't want to say, well, I have to get into the tub and that's the only way I can do this. I decided, just like what you were saying, I can I can do this in my sunroom. I can do this in my car. I can do this around. I can do find peace and love myself wherever I am and whoever I'm with. That's the best way I can say it. Because I said I don't want to say the only way I can do this is to go get in my tub. I don't like to be limited because I see myself as limitless. And I can find it wherever I am. And so I'm glad you helped me remember that. That's the other thing that I said sitting there. I said, I don't have to just get in this tub and experience this and release all of this stuff. And I'm glad I said that because when I watch this stuff, I just go, just remember, oh, I don't have to get emotionally involved and attached to this. I'm just watching it and observing it and moving on.
Uh, though there are things, Kathy, that can affect you, not necessarily you, I'm using you in the
I
plural,
understand.
that can affect people, can help, it can cause them to panic. And is this going to be taken away from me? How will I make it without it? You see. So, but if you stay in that place of how can I make it without it? You see, how can I make it? Then you're going to stay in the energy of not making it.
Correct.
So the thing now becomes to move yourself from that energy. Some of you will need a distraction. That's
Mm.
why we mentioned salsa dancing. Go, even if it's just for 30 minutes or an hour, go and experience that hour of not focusing on the trauma in your life. Go do something.
And realm for a lot of people, the church supplies that. Um, Everybody that I know is learning boots on the ground, that new line dance with the fan, boom, 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 you know. Um, they are finding all kinds of ways to um, not only just stand on business, but stand on business in such a way that they are not getting emotionally wrapped up into what's going on. They're observing it, but not getting emotionally wrapped up. In other words, they have an expression, nothing's going to steal their joy. And
Yes.
that's what they live by.
But you know, you have to be really secure in that.
I understand that, yeah.
When it says nothing is going to disturb. And you know, as far as church is concerned, yes, people go to the synagogue, people go to their temples,
Correct.
people go to other places to worship. People go to worship sitting on the beach watching the sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to find something that's going to assist you in changing your thought.
There you go.
That's it. Find something. And it doesn't mean we understand that we've taught quick displace, replace. We've taught affirmations here. We've taught all of that. Some people may not understand what is a QDR, nor do they understand how to do it. So what we're saying to you, there are so many other things that you can do that can generate the peace, you see. Do something that you like to do for yourself. Practice that because quite a few always want to do for other people. You're thinking about everybody else first, and then you're last, you see. But the thing now is learn to love you, to take you first. Because when you take you first, then people are going to come to support you with that. That puts them in that energy as well when they come to support you, and that assists them in change. You see, so loving yourself is not selfish. It's really an extension of peace.
And you're going to find those people that are also seeking that are also you're going to find that they're around you more than everyone else that one has that straw. Oh, you're happy. Wait a minute. Let me suck some of that joy out of you because you have to be unhappy like me. Well, you know, birds of a feather flock together. So those that have low vibrational thoughts and emotions, they always gravitate towards each other. And those that aren't, they just, move on. You just have to learn that you can tell if someone's taking you out of yourself or making you not love yourself or get upset, then you know it's time to plant them now and dig them later. Just move on. Just go with the flow and just flow on the way because they're not going to want to be around you anyway.
Absolutely. And what you just said, they won't want to be around you. Of course not, because you've changed your frequency.
Ah, okay, there we go.
So your frequency no longer fits with their frequency. So therefore, you're not gravitating there. When you gravitate to someone, you're gravitating to them because your frequency is very similar to theirs, you see.
So
And
should we watch our frequency?
When you form a group, you're going to see that the people that form that group are very similar in frequency. That's why you come together. You just don't join a group, regardless of what the group is doing. You don't just join the group just to say, okay, I think I want to be there. There's a reason for that. And the reason is that your frequency is meshing with theirs.
So, but we call it interests. So if we change interests to frequencies, that's really more or less why that's what you if I'm in understanding what you're saying, if we can we substitute the word frequency for interests?
You could if you're sharing the same interest, but yeah, you could say it. I would say that that would be in conjunction with it,
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
interest, or your philosophy of life. You see, you're going to connect to a person that has a similar approach to life.
And you may think you want to be with that person because I know people that were in like a clan situation and all of a sudden they met a child and that child just changed their life and they left their frequency changed
Absolutely.
and so therefore they changed
Yeah,
and they had to give up well they didn't have to but their family and all that stuff they no longer associate with them because they're not vibrating on the same frequency but it's also they no longer have the same beliefs they no longer have those same low vibrational thoughts or emotions about this particular group of people um, and he found out that the person found out because they were had a different sexual orientation he wasn't being true to himself either so he left all of that behind and listening to his story is just fascinating so it's in sync with what you're saying.
absolutely. Because we gravitate toward people that are similar to us. It's like some people uh, in universities, what are they? Sororities and fraternities. You come together there. They might have a lot of fraternities there and a lot of sororities there. And then you'll decide, well, I think I want to do this sorority over here versus the other sorority, or I want to join this fraternity here and not the rest of them. I like this one better. Well, you like that one better because you're very similar to them.
If on
That's why you
frequency levels, right,
that. So
right.
you're gravitating. So frequency has a lot to do with it.
And
But that's connection with others. But so the basic primary thing is to be connected to self. That is the primary thing. Be connected to self. Love self.
yeah,
Remember, if you can't stand in that mirror and look in your eyes and say, I love you, then you're going to know. That will be your challenge from us to all of you in the audience. Go stand in front of a mirror, look in your eyes, and see if you can say, I love you. If that makes you feel funny, or if that gives you a challenge, if you want to lower your head and lower your eyes, that's the sign that you don't love yourself. So then what you want to do, you want to put in place things that help you to love yourself. Some people go out and buy flowers. Some people go out and get a manicure. Some people go out and play pool. You see, find something that you enjoy. The more that you bring joy into your life, the more you're going to be bringing love of self into your life, the more you're going to be bringing in peace.
And with that realm, I just want to reinforce what you're saying, or to our audience, live a life of peace. It's for your health, it's for your mental state, it's for the planet, it's for the universe. Next week, we'll be talking about how do I create my reality, or how you create your reality. And you are the reality, believe it or not, that you create through your own thoughts and emotions, because you create everything in your personal life. And we're going to take a look at that and why you are manifesting what you are manifesting. And the realm will be joining us, and just even looking at the different milestones in your life, you know. And just want to reiterate, you can find us on Facebook. All you find all of your Instagram, all types of social media platforms. And of course, Alan will be joining us. Making Contact is his book. He's going to teach remote viewing. And with that, Greta, can you please come back, Realm?
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant to call you back sooner, Greta.
That's all right.
Everyone say hi to Greta. Hi, Greta. All right. We are going to sign off right now. We'll check us out next week, though.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.